Turn the volume up, let the truth slide in. From the block to the ballot, we talk how we live it. Sports, politics, culture in the same lane. Two voices, one mic, no watered down game. It's the Phew podcast, where wisdom meets the word.
Whoa. Yeah. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Say it again. Sing it, Malcolm. Whoa. Huh. You messed it up. You messed it up.
Absolutely nothing. No, I didn't. I was on point.
You wasn't there with me. You was late.
I didn't know you was going to throw an alley-oop. That's why.
Hey, welcome back. It's the Phew podcast, episode 4. I'm Uncle Chris, a.k.a. C-Note, a.k.a. Unc Note. That's nephew.
What's going down? What's going down?
Almost forgot to introduce yourself.
Oh, me? Yeah, I'm nephew, Malcolm, a.k.a. Mac Ice. Y'all know how it go.
Yo, we got to jump into this. We're not even gonna go through no major housekeeping particulars because we got a lot to talk about. We got to get right into it, and I hope we don't have any type of copyright infringement kind of thing thrown at us about the song "War." But yeah, shout out to old Edwin Starr for making that song way back in the day. So anyway,
always protesting for the right things.
Always. We're at war, bro. We are at war with Iran.
Yeah, and they trying to say it's a military operation. They pull in the Russia card. Hey, it's a military. Hey, 4 years. It still ain't no operation, cuz. You are at war.
You are at war. Hey, straight up, DJT came out and said, we're at war, 2:30 in the morning. I was knocked out asleep in my bed, happened to have the TV on. I wake up to hearing his voice, which was irritating, because I'm like, what is this fool on TV talking about? What's going on? I wake up, and he was at a party, left his little party to come out and tell the American people. Well, I guess he recorded it on video, and then they sent it out. But tell the American people that we're at war with Iran. And I bet you a lot of us are left with the question that I had, which is why? Like, what is this about? And then, of course, subsequently, over the next couple of days after it all broke out, or we start bombing Iran, I should say, you had a myriad of excuses and reasons, and bottom line is what it looks like, and what our own government is saying is that we kind of got pulled into this by Israel. So it's not even our war technically, and Americans are paying the price for it. So yeah, we're at war, people.
Yeah, to me, I can't really even sleep at night if I'm being all the way honest, because number one, why are you conducting things in the middle of the night? Number one, and why are you letting another country pull you into war? You were in negotiations. This is the second time this happened, right? Where you're in negotiations with Iran, and you surprise attack. It really wasn't a surprise because you built up a military trying to be Mr. Tough Guy, but ultimately, you then attacked them, and then, to be honest, I think. It's just egregious. It's just egregious all the way around. And like what, the third day they tried to call, I could be wrong on the day, but they tried to call for a ceasefire, and Iran said, fuck you, man. Nope. It's the second time y'all play. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So it's the second time they've done that. So they're now saying, Iran's now saying that they're going until November because they want to inflict maximum pain to these crazy deranged leaders. Number one, Israel's getting plummeted. They successfully taken out all of the air defense in the region, and they've been attacking all the countries, the military bases, and they thought it's a war of attrition that they're fighting against, asymmetric war. I don't think the U.S. could win this war. Number one, we shouldn't be in no war, right?
Right.
If you're in charge, like you say you're in charge, Mr. Trump, president, if you say you're in charge and there is no other person in charge, no other person, the leader of the free world, then you should have we the people elected you. I didn't vote for you because I knew there was some things I had concerns with that I just couldn't reconcile with voting for you, and I'm okay with that. But I think the people elected you to be able, just, based on a few things. They elected you because you are a good businessman, supposedly. You know how to negotiate, supposedly, and you make deals, and you're not a part of the swamp. All of these things
supposedly
have been proven. Yes, all of these things have been proven wrong. You are a part of the swamp. You don't know how to negotiate, and you're not really for the people. And
you're definitely not a good businessman.
Yeah, definitely not a good businessman. So the people aren't with you. So, a lot of people are losing sleep at night, and they are. I care from a humanitarian aspect, right? I don't.
Right.
War isn't good, especially if it could be avoided. And it felt like Iran took you for your word, saying, "Hey, let's do good faith negotiations," even though probably somebody in their lineage was like, "Nah, we shouldn't trust them." So they said we could trust them, but prepare. And here we are. We're locked into the middle of a war, Mr. No Wars. So
yeah. So let's unpack that a little bit. The whole no wars thing. So I was thinking about this from a standpoint of let's just take Keenan, my youngest. His entire life, he's grown up with war. His entire life. He was born a couple months after 9/11, right?
Right.
No. Yeah, born a couple months after 9/11. So his entire life, he's been raised in a country that is at war with the Middle East in some form or fashion, right? And then to have a presidential nominee for the Republican Party, DJT, who ran on, and I got my notes here, no forever wars, right? Says he was totally against the Iraq war, right? That we should have never had troops over there. We had no business being over there. And he himself campaigned on, he is not going to get us into any more forever wars. Not only that, he also accused the Democratic nominee for the presidential race, Kamala Harris, of if she becomes president, she will get us into a war with Iran. Those literally were his words, right?
Yes.
So what are we talking about here? So everything that he said he didn't like, said he was against, and he projected onto Kamala Harris, he's actually doing. So Mr. Promises made and promises kept, you're not keeping your promises to the people that elected you, right? And I'm with you. I didn't vote for him either because I saw the bullshit way long. 2016, I seen the bullshit, right? So he's never been my guy, and that's fine. He's the president of the United States, like it or not. But the things that, his base, the MAGA base, elected him for, he is 100% not doing. That goes from the way he conducts his immigration policy, which was supposed to be the worst of the worst and only the criminals, right? Mm-hmm. They barely even scratching the surface, barely even on the surface, landing on the surface to getting criminals, but they're taking hard-working, mothers and fathers and people who have been here for, a couple of generations or a couple of decades at least, and trying to ship them out of the country all the way down to the point of trying to change the Constitution to say birthright citizenship isn't a thing in this country. That's how bad he wants people out of this country who basically don't look like him, right? Obviously, they can't mess with us, but they if they could do it,
that's like one step away from.
Way.
That's one step away from messing with us, right?
Yeah, right. So I say all that to say is, you ain't kept not one promise that you made to your supporters or to the American people, to this country, that you said that you would not get us into foreign conflicts. You would conduct your immigration policy on the worst of the worst. You said that the economy is going to come roaring back. What does he call it? The golden age, which we are not in. We're in the golden age of terror is what we're in. And unfortunately, we're sitting at the top of that pile right now from a worldview, right? You have not lowered gas prices. And I will say this, about a month and a half ago, gas prices looked like they were actually starting to come down a little bit. Well, just ruined that, right? Yep. So we're in a situation right now with a man who is deranged and has his own derangement syndrome of himself. Like he likes to accuse everybody else of having Trump derangement syndrome, like that's a real disease or something. But if it is a thing, he's got Trump derangement syndrome because he's feeling emboldened, and a lot of this is the Supreme Court's fault too. He's feeling like a king. He's feeling untouchable, and they basically gave him a green light to do whatever the hell he wants. And you know, it doesn't help when the leader of a country, Bibi Netanyahu, you know what I mean, has. I'm just saying, bro. Netanyahu has been wanting for 40 years to go against Iran in a war. He's been saying it.
For 40 years, he's saying they're 3 months away or weeks away.
3 months away or weeks away. I mean, since 1996, he's been saying they're a week away from a bomb. They're a week away from nuclear weapons. They're a month away. Give it 6 more days. Hey, matter of fact, if we don't do something now, 3 hours, they may have a nuclear weapon, right? So Bibi Netanyahu and DJT have gotten together. Looks like it's Netanyahu's lead that DJT is following. So what does that say about us right now?
We're being
when
occupied.
An American president is following the lead of another country, basically by their demand. Yeah. And you know, I say that to say, and then I'm going to get off my soapbox for a little bit because I'm probably going to hop on and hop off of this thing all day today. But I say that to say, you got to also follow the money, right? We're not fighting this war because Americans were in some sort of a danger. They don't have ballistic missiles that could reach the mainland United States. And if we put our ships in harm's way, then we're choosing to do that, right? What we're doing is, you got to remember when Trump left office the first time, his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, for some odd reason, had $2 billion of Saudi money shoved into his pockets, right? Nobody ever really figured out what that was for. Why is that, right? Trump comes back into office. Qatar, however you pronounce that country's name, they decide we're going to give this man a $45 million plane that he can use as the new Air Force One. And when he's done with his presidency, whenever that may be, he could take that plane with him and have it for his personal use. So you got $2 billion over here. You got $45 million plane. Whoever, God knows whatever else is going on. And I guess the UAE is in there too, you know, providing some support and some kind of financial aid. I believe they had something to do with creating some bullshit ass crypto coin or crypto deal for him that he netted another. Yeah, funding it. Like he netted another $1.5 to $2 billion. So if you follow that money, Iran sits right smack dab in the middle of those countries, right? And they all hate Iran. I mean, for what Iran is a brutal dictatorship country. They brutalize their people, right? You cannot dissent in Iran or you will be shot dead in the streets. We know that to be true. The Ayatollah was a horrible individual in the way he treated his people. We know that to be true. These countries that are in that region do not like Iran. And I don't know if it's for those reasons or it's for other reasons, right? So it looks like...
Okay, can't
hold on.
Those. Okay.
Hold on. I'm going to let you get to it. But it looks like they are paying for the services of our military, our men and women, our young people to go over there and die for those Middle East countries and Israel. At what cost? There's nothing we're benefiting from it. Not a damn thing. So
no,
go ahead.
Gonna lose.
I'm gonna jump off.
No, I feel like it. Like, okay, so it can't be for because they're a brutal dictator. It's because they are the resistance to Israel's expansion. Israel. If you just look at who starts the wars, who starts the conflict in that area. Just look at who started the conflict just now.
Yeah.
It's the same country.
Yeah.
And they're a settler colony. It's crazy that these people let you in and you treating them like that. And the only country willing to stand up to you was Iran. Okay.
Yeah.
And we know, like, Iran, they're not dumb. They're not Venezuela. You can't just go in there and topple the... No. They already gamed this out. And the 12-day war, right? They won.
Yeah. They did.
Because you couldn't do nothing with it. Okay, you could take a whole leadership out. You could take this out. Cool. We go. It's like the head grows back. So,
yeah. Well,
but this time they went after the Ayatollah Khomeini. I pronounced his name wrong. My apologies.
Khomeini, I think. Ayatollah Khomeini. Probably butchered it too.
But I was looking at it. I was like, he probably set a trap. He didn't want to leave. He didn't want to leave his house. So they came out and said, hey, we tried to tell him, hey, let's bring him over into a bunker. Hey, let's bring him over to somewhere else. And he was like, I'll go if you can find a bunker for 90 million people.
Right.
I'll go to this other location if you can find safety for 90 million people as well.
Right.
If not, I'm not going. So he kind of knew this was a high possibility that they're gonna strike and attack him, and he was ready. And in that culture, you're not just assassinating a leader, right? You're assassinating a religious figure. So what I feel like President Trump did was, okay, let's just decapitate him and then put in somebody new, right?
Right.
Probably the next in line, so we can then, come in and make our demands, and then it'll all be smooth. It don't work like that, my man.
No, hell no.
It don't work like that. And number one, you united the people versus further dividing the people and plunging that country into chaos. So every time you drop a bomb, you're uniting the people because you're dropping on those same people you expected to overthrow that government, right?
Right. Yep.
So there's number one, in these 8 days, they've taken out all of they're going for broke. They're going for broke, right? They're going for broke. They've taken out all the THAAD, all of the defense, billions of dollars with just $20,000 drones, $50,000 drones. And then they're just methodically trying to, okay, we'll take you out. So they know they're going to get hit. So there's really no clear way out of it unless you put boots on the ground, right? So if you put boots on the ground, that's when Americans in this country is going to be like, whoa, wait a minute. That's not what you promised. That's not what you campaigned against.
And we're going there.
And why are our children, our sons and daughters, going over there to fight for another country's ambitions?
Yeah.
Just think about that.
And it's not that the other country has been attacked or anything like that. It's their ambitions.
It's their ambitions.
That's crazy that we are putting our people, our troops, in a position to have to die for another country's ambitions, right? And who's usually doing that, right? It's usually, the poor and unfortunate that, to join the military. They obviously know that there's always a chance that they can go to war, and they're willing to go to war to protect this nation and die for this nation should we ever be attacked by a foreign invader, right? But I highly doubt they signed up to go fight a quote-unquote allies war for no reason, because it is no reason, right? So
Are they really an ally if you're in peace? You're in the negotiations, and then they say, okay, we're gonna hit them, and then you gotta hit them too. Like they're stepping on your toes at that point. Are they really
Pretty
your
much.
ally? Are they really your ally? And they're not putting their people up.
No, not at all.
And I saw they trying to recruit the Orthodox Jews, and they standing up. So nobody wants this in Israel because they got this deranged war criminal as a leader who figured out like how to not hold elections and all these things, and we got this deranged president here as well, and we just gotta now it's gonna be we just gotta worry about like, hey, this is gonna fall into World War III.
Yep.
I was looking at a speech from Kim Jong-un, and he said, hey, we got our people in Iran. If one of them is touched, then we got to enter. So, like, it's a high possibility that World War III is going to happen now because you guys did a miscalculation. You guys didn't go with diplomacy, and we're not really in control. You're proving to us that Israel is in control. That's really what it is.
Yeah, and as far as the diplomacy piece, there was really no real diplomacy, right? They sent Jared Kushner over there with some guy, Howard Wexner, or some, I think that's his name, some real estate mogul friend of Donald Trump's. They sent them over there to have talks the day before
2 days.
the strikes began. 2 days before the strikes began, they're over there having negotiations, having talks. They come away saying they don't have a deal yet. You know what I mean? Talks didn't go that great, but there is some room to still make some headway. And then 2 days later, you're striking. You didn't plan a whole war strike in that short amount of time. What you did was you already knew that you were going in there. You've been pre-planning this, right? You've been pre-planning to go in there and hit this country. But you utilize your quote-unquote diplomacy as a smokescreen to try to show the people, I guess, hey, we tried. But 2 days later, you're already hitting them? That don't look like trying to me. That looks like a smokescreen to me.
That's a smokescreen for real.
And yes, I hate it and I hope I'm wrong, but I do believe that this is the beginning of World War III. And, maybe they see it as a benefit to them, but it is definitely not a benefit to the rest of us anywhere in the world, right? Especially here in the United States. It's not a benefit for us to go into World War III, which it's very easy for countries to get pulled into to a war with other nations and then turn it into a world war. Because we see, well, you weren't alive for it, I wasn't alive for it, but the history books show us and tell us that that's exactly how world wars get started. You try to mind your business to stay out of it, and some country does something, they either attack you or whatever it is. It's somehow, some way you get pulled into it, and then next thing you know, here we are on this major armed conflict all over the world, and I think we're on the brink of that.
Yeah, I agree. This is like, I want to go back to your diplomacy comment. This is what happens when you just mass fire the government officials. You're talking about people who are career diplomats who could have actually handled this and not just sending your son-in-law over there, right? Like, and your business buddies. Like, these guys aren't serious. Like, and they're obviously not professional. So we traded in. Unfortunately, MAGA traded in, and I'm talking to everyone who voted for MAGA and everyone who abstained to vote, because you ultimately ended up voting for MAGA. Y'all didn't listen, and we all have to bear the consequences as a result. So this is kind of crazy, and if you feeling what I'm feeling, it's not going to get any easier. Yes, it's right now it's not affecting us on the mainland, but it could.
I mean,
you get any of the two other superpowers involved, they got intercontinental ballistic missiles that has nuclear warheads that can reach. You already seen China sent the balloon all the way trying to map out all of our military installations So they're ready.
Yeah.
They're in the Gulf right now, just mapping everything out.
Yeah, and I'll correct you on one thing. It might not be affecting us militarily on our homeland yet, but it's affecting us because, I mean, just on the minute scale of it, which is major to us because we already, have high inflation in this country, right? Now gas prices are going up again. Not everybody owns an electric vehicle, okay? It's not even a mass popular thing at this point in time in our country. Most Americans are still driving gas-powered engine vehicles, right? Diesel-powered engine vehicles. Right. And all of that stuff is going up because Iran said, okay, you want to fuck with us? All right, then. We're going to shut down the Strait of Hormuz, right? 20% of the world's oil comes through there. We're going to shut that down. We're going to fire upon any ship that even tries to come through there. So you take away 20% of the world's oil, that's a huge deal, right?
It's a very huge deal.
I mean, before we're actually even affected in terms of, what we have in the ground here at our gas stations and those tanks, they're raising the prices on stuff that's already in the ground. You know what I mean? It hasn't even been depleted yet, and they're already raising the prices because the price of oil went up. What is it at? I think $95, $96 a barrel or something like that now. They're talking about it's going to topple $100 a barrel. The oil prices are going to shoot through the roof, so they market adjust early. They market adjust before they get caught flat-footed, and we pay the price for that. And that's how it's affecting us right now in this country.
Tell them about that situation. You drove up a mountain.
Yeah. Yep.
Tell them about that.
So
that's crazy.
So I'm in Oregon and just here for work. Decided to get out of the house last weekend. Drove up to Mount Hood, and which is basically the tallest mountain in Oregon. I think it's a volcano, but that's where everybody goes to go skiing, snowboarding, all that. Some of my colleagues were up there, having a good time, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get out of the house, drive up there, hang out with them, have a couple drinks at the bar, a little tailgate lunch with the grill and all that kind of stuff. Good time. I passed this gas station on the way up, and it's kind of one of the only ones once you kind of get more out into the rural area. It's kind of like the only gas station, and I think at that time the gas was, as I passed it going up in the morning, I think gas was just shy of $5 a gallon, right? Little high. It's Oregon. It's expensive. So it's already high. On my way back down the hill, I passed this gas station again. It was already at $8 a gallon. That's how much they jumped it. They took it up almost $3, right? Because of what was happening. And I think we were in, I don't know. Were we in
that was
day
the first
one?
day. That was
first
one.
day. Yeah, that was day one.
You called me at 4 a.m. I'm like,
yeah.
So the day before I worked that night till like 4 a.m. So like the next day you called me 4 a.m. and I'm like, oh, I can't get no sleep. And then and all this stuff happens, man. This is crazy.
Yeah.
And it's not only just the gas price, right? It bleeds into everything else. So transportation, like food, anything that needs to be transported through road or through the air is then affected. So all of our prices are going to go up. It's not just in isolation. This is nuts. Like,
and I fly home a lot, so I'm paying attention to what these ticket prices are going to start looking like, because if jet fuel prices are going to go up, they're going to raise tickets, because who they're going to have to pass that cost along to. So it affects every aspect of our life, whether you believe it or not, right? Not only that, let's take the gas off the table. Let's even take the food off the table. Any product that we use in our daily lives that's oil derivative, it's made with oil, with petroleum, those items are going to go up too. We don't ever think about that in terms of a war and price of oil going through the roof, but those products become more expensive too because they are made with petroleum, right?
right.
Vaseline's going to go up. I mean, let's just, you know what I mean? You got to look at it for what it is. Everything that we use, any plastics and things like that we use that have oil compounds in them, they are going to go through the roof because of the cost of a barrel of oil, and it's just the way it is, man.
Yeah, it's this war is escalating very, very quickly, and I think because they didn't think this through, and now they have to, you know, I feel like Trump is like, oh, I got to go strong man, you know, and that's the ego. That's the ego. The ego would always get you in trouble. Your ego will always get you in trouble. So what's happening is they're just dropping bigger bombs on the same people they trying to quote unquote free. So you don't really give a fuck about them. You don't give a fuck about us. Because if you did give a fuck about us, you would listen. None of us really want this war. I would never, ever, ever think I would ever agree with someone like Nick Fuentes, like on anything.
Right.
But when he's calling for us to unite and, you know, against the occupation of Israel in our country, I agree with him on that. Every other thing I don't agree with, but
that's something. How do you not agree with that? And other big names that I would never agree with on anything. Candace Owens, right? Tucker Carlson, they all over this, man. They're all over this. I would never agree with them on anything because they're major propaganda pushers for the right usually, but they've been on top of this and everything that they're saying about this, not just the war, but just about who's actually pulling the strings in this country and where that comes from. You know, Bibi Netanyahu. Well, they're 100% dead on with that, and you. As much as you might dislike somebody's views or beliefs or the rhetoric that they spew, especially when they tell a lot of lies. As a matter of fact, I was watching something that Tucker Carlson was talking about the other day, and he was talking about knowing how people lie to push an agenda and to push a narrative. And he goes, and I'm speaking from experience because I used to do that. He said that. So he's acknowledging, oh yeah, he said it. So he's basically talking about, you know, when he was on Fox News and all the lies he used to tell. And he came out and admitted it in that trial that they had when Dominion Voting Systems sued Fox News, right, for defamation. And he admitted that they make up lies. But with that being said, he's saying things right now that, you know, we are in this nation conditioned that we cannot say anything. We can't be critical of Israel. Can't say anything. Even if it's true, you better not say it. Otherwise, you'll be labeled as an anti-Semite, right? You're anti-Semitic because you said that, you know, Israel's bread prices are too high or whatever it is. Oh, you're anti-Semitic.
I don't care no more. Just give me. Give me the label. We don't care.
We don't even give shit no more. It is what it is. The truth is the truth. You know what I mean? And they need to come to grips with that. The world is 100% knowing what this is, what y'all are doing, right? And we're not going for it anymore, right? We've laid down mostly from a biblical perspective. You know, the Bible says, you know, who he blesses Israel will be blessed. But you know, we now know if you really study that scripture, it's not talking about Israel, the nation that we're looking at now. He's talking about Jacob, right? And Israel's within Jacob. So we're not talking about the country that was founded in 1948. That's not who we're talking about when that scripture was written. So with that being said, and I don't want to get all off into the Bible or anything like that, and I'm sure we're going to have a bunch of comments where everybody's going to be trying to school me on what I just said. Whatever. Save your energy because I don't really give a fuck. So I don't give a goddamn. So what I am going to say is everybody has to wake up to what's really happening. We have to understand what's going on, who's pulling the strings, and who's actually being allowed to be puppeteered by the puppet master, right? And right now we're being puppeteered by them, right? By way of DJT and his group. And like you said, inexperienced, non-professional, absolutely 100% non-serious group of individuals that are running our government right now.
Yep. And this ties into Epstein, to be honest with you. Like, Iran is already stating we're at war with the Epstein class. So if you've been studying or looking at everything that's coming out of the Epstein files, the little bitty files that we've gotten,
Yeah.
they haven't released everything. You understand Epstein was saying to avoid this, he's gonna start a war with Iran. Boom.
Yep.
What are you talking about? So we're
Right.
living this.
Yeah.
Like
That's why it's Operation Epstein Fury.
Epstein Fury. It's not no epic fury. These guys really believe in these things, and that's what makes them crazy and deranged. And it makes them dangerous because yes, we have. The thing is, in this, we do have the biggest military, but we haven't won every war because there's something called asymmetric warfare, which Vietnam is a great example of that. They was like, okay, we can't outgun them. They got bigger guns. We can't outbomb them. They got bigger bombs. Mm-hmm. But we can outsmart them because they don't know the jungle, like we know the jungle.
Yep.
Right.
Just bring them in. Just bring them in here.
Bring them in the jungle. So this Epstein stuff is getting out of hand, and I do feel like President Trump is compromised. I feel like they got blackmail on him.
Oh yeah, 100%.
We already know Epstein was part of, right? He was part of Mossad. So
Mossad,
let's be honest.
There's no way. Yeah, there's no way around him not being guilty of something, right? Because you don't fight as hard as they have fought, especially him. Let me back up a little bit, and then I'm going to come right back to that. Let me back up a little bit. He knew what his supporters wanted. He knows and he knew what MAGA wanted because they were screaming it from the mountaintops. Release the Epstein files. But they were only screaming it, and we've been saying this over and over, they're only doing that because they had the belief, based on Donald Trump and Stephen Miller, that it was going to be Democrats, and only Democrats were going to be in there that were doing all this dirty stuff with Epstein. So it was an easy thing for him to do, is run around and say, yep, we're going to release the Epstein files. He had all his podcast bros that supported him talking about releasing the Epstein files. You even put Kash Patel and John Bonvino, whatever that guy's name, that was number 2 at the FBI. You put them in places of power. You got Pam Bondian, who said, the Epstein files are sitting on my desk and I'm reviewing them. And then all of a sudden, you got the base all ginned up, ready to go, thinking that these files were coming. And then they started doing the bait and switch, right? Mm-hmm. Then they started doing the sleight of hand, magic tricks, to the point where they just basically said, yeah, there's nothing to see here.
Yeah, there's a lot to see.
What the fuck you mean there ain't nothing to see here? Like they couldn't even, they ran out of tricks. They just had to say, yeah, nothing to see here. We're not releasing anything. The fuck you talking about? But what's so genius about them is when they told their supporters to shut the fuck up about it, right? Mm-hmm. What'd they do? They mostly just shut the fuck up and started deflecting. Like, how come Joe Biden didn't release the Epstein files? Because Joe Biden never campaigned that he was going to release the Epstein files. Joe Biden and Merrick Garland never said anything about releasing the Epstein files. That was your people that did that, right? Mm-hmm. That was them that did that. That was the people you support, that said they were going to release them. But they always do that switcheroo. Well, what about Joe Biden? What about the Democrats? They didn't do it. They had power for 4 years. They could have done it. But your president, the one you elected, said that he was. And then when he realized, oh shit, I'm in the Epstein files. Oh shit, whatever I'm in the Epstein files for is really, really bad, because obviously they tried to withhold 475,000 documents or something like that with his name specifically in them, right?
Yeah.
I'm in the Epstein files. We don't release nothing. We're not going to release anything because I don't need something inadvertently about me getting out that's going to severely incriminate me, right? That's what his thinking was at the time, as opposed to just saying, hey, you know what? We're going to release everything. We're going to redact the names of the victims, but everything's going to come out, and the American people are going to see what they're going to see. So what? You were friends with him for 15 years. So what? You flew on his plane. So what? You went to his private island. If you ain't do nothing wrong, you didn't do nothing wrong. It is what it is, right?
Yeah.
Be willing to put that out there. Be willing for the people to see that you didn't do shit. But instead, you ran scared, and you looked like a guilty ass son of a bitch. That's exactly how you look. Yeah. When you start saying we ain't releasing nothing, nobody else to investigate. Oh, look over here. Let's start investigating Democrats. Oh, look over here. Let's make the Clintons come in and testify about Epstein behind closed doors, I might add. When Clintons are saying, no, let's do this shit out in public. Let's let everybody see what the fuck is going on, right?
Exactly.
But you were the one, DJT, running scared, which means there's something in there you know is very, very bad about you that you don't want us to see. And as long as we don't see it, all we can do is speculate. But fuck that speculation shit. We know you guilty of something, homeboy.
Yeah. I mean, it's clear. Like, in some of the stuff, like, okay, I didn't get to vote in the 2016 election. I was overseas. I was in the UK. I got my ballot application in, request in late. So my first time voting for DJT was in 2020, or voting against him, not for
against. Him. Yeah, I was gonna say,
him.
come on now.
Clear that up. I gotta clear that up.
I'm gonna reach through the camera on you.
So that time, that his whole presidency, a little shaky, like a lot of shaky, honestly. But I didn't think he lost his base. I didn't think he was gonna lose up until how he handled COVID, and he doesn't. He
Same
thinks.
Here.
He thinks it was a rigged election. No, it was how you handled a epidemic, pandemic. Like
pandemic.
We were helpless, and you just were not helpful, and that's not indicative of a leader, and that's why you got voted out. And that's it. Just leave that other shit alone. Leave that other shit alone. That's it.
That's it. And it's because he had basically 3.5 years of a great economy handed to him by President Obama, right? All the policies and things that Obama did to bring us back out of that 2008 market crash, and with these automakers that were too big to fail and the banks that were too big to fail and all that kind of stuff, the stuff George Bush got us into, especially with the Iraq and Afghanistan war, right? Mm-hmm. Obama pulled us out of that. Turned that economy around, right? It was really great economy, and he handed it off to Trump. All Trump had to do was manage it, right? He had career professionals, real career professionals in place that can maintain that momentum that Obama set.
Yep.
But where he fucked up is when COVID hit, he ran to the other side with the conspiracy theory crowd, right? While in private, protecting himself, protecting his family. You know, he's the one that said, hey, let's develop a vaccine, Operation Warp Speed for a vaccine that he doesn't even want to take credit for. Like, bro, you came up with that. And you don't want to take credit for it. You demonize your own vaccine because you saw that a major chunk of your base was totally against it, right? Yeah. And then it just became tenfold when he lost the election. But yeah, he abandoned us as a president. And even when he got COVID himself, we know that he was doing everything that he could to take care of himself, take care of his people, his family. But then when he get on camera, he would make it like it's all a hoax. He would be hiring witch doctors and all them type of stupid ass people to be in charge of, you know, whatever medical groups. You know, they demonize Dr. Fauci, like Dr. Fauci like made COVID or something. Yeah. So they were successful in doing that. But by doing that, the American people said, hell no. Overwhelmingly said, hell no, we're not going for this. And they got his ass up out of there. So yeah, man, with that, Donald Trump has an off-ramp here when it comes to this war. And I'm going to tell you.
You say he has an off-ramp?
He has an off-ramp. If he's willing to take it, he has an off-ramp. I'm actually going to be the one to offer him the off-ramp. It's my idea. Okay.
You
ready?
Yeah. I mean, I haven't heard no off-ramp, bro. So.
Oh, I got an off-ramp for him. I got an off-ramp for him. So we have the whole Epstein file saga going on, right? That's what's dogging them. This is partly why we're into this war situation, because it's deflect and distract as much as you possibly can. And once one story gets old, we gotta get a new one. Well, the ultimate one is, you know what? Yeah, let's go ahead and strike Iran because they're gonna talk about this. This is gonna be on the news every day for the next 6 months, and they won't even talk about Epstein anymore. You really, really, truly want the off-ramp of this war that's very unsuccessful, in my opinion, at this point, that's very unpopular, not in my opinion, by what the polls say in this country, and you lied to your base saying you would never get us into. You want an off-ramp? Here's an off-ramp. Paying attention?
I'm listening. I don't know what you're about to say. So.
Release some more files. And I'm not talking about Epstein files. Release the crack files.
The what? The crack files.
Release the crack files. So what Donald Trump could do is Donald Trump could come out tomorrow and say, I'm going to release the CIA crack files, from when CIA introduced crack into the black neighborhoods back in the late 80s, mid to late 80s, and all the way into the 90s. I'm going to release the files on that. And you know what else I'm going to do? After we release these files and I order investigations into what happened, we're going to pay reparations to those affected by crack era policies that happened under Ronald Reagan and Bush 1. I tell you right now, he could very well then quietly wind this thing down and nobody would even notice because we'd be all over them crack files. Matter of fact, you might even have black support. I'm just saying, release them crack files, homies.
It just sounds, the crack files sounds.
You know how bad crack was? You know how bad crack was in the 80s and that, bro?
Oh, you were there, right? So I would let you.
Yeah, I lived it. So without going into total specifics on who was on it and who wasn't, because I'm not going to out a lot of people, but you're growing up, you're living in a nice middle class neighborhood, nice homes, been there, the homes have been there for a while. A lot of people in my neighborhood, in my area of town where I grew up, a lot of military families, you know what I mean? Nice area of town, little rough sometimes, but nothing crazy. Wasn't no quote unquote hood. And then all of a sudden they dropped crack off into the neighborhood. And when they dropped it off, it was like a bomb exploded. And it was literally like overnight. You just start seeing crackheads everywhere, right? Everybody high and cracked out. And now you got cars being broken into for people stealing stereos. They breaking into your house to steal your VCR, right? Take your Nintendo game systems and all that kind of stuff. Crack was crazy, right? Right. And then because of that, right, now comes the war on drugs, right? The mandatory minimum sentencing, right? You got more time for smoking crack than you did for snorting cocaine. It was crazy, and it was all systematic by our government, by our CIA, to fund the Iran-Contra, right? To fund getting those Contras in those weapons when they were over there in trying to fight that war, right? So that was all by the CIA, and to do that because it wasn't legal to fund that with U.S. American taxpayer money, right? So how are we going to do that? We're working with the Contras. How are we gonna fund this? Well, just drop some dope off in the hood, and let the brothers and sisters pay for it. So on our backs, poisoning our people, poisoning our neighborhoods, right? Crime rate went through the roof. More people incarcerated. More kids being born and at home without fathers in the home because fathers are out here being sent to prison because, you know what? You can't beat them, join them mentality. So a lot of them became dealers, right? A lot of mamas was leaving their babies because babies being born on crack. A lot of mamas was addicted to crack and leaving their babies. Grandparents start having to raise their grandkids and all of that. And even some grandparents was on crack too. So yeah, Release those crack files. Let's pop that open and see what the CIA did, how they poisoned our neighborhoods. And I guarantee you, that would be a whole other big story, and you can quietly bring it into this war. And I will support releasing the crack files, bro.
I support releasing the crack files too. That's kind of wild. Crack files.
I'm just saying. It is a thing. It is a thing. And they do have files. They're out there somewhere.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, release the crack files, President. Release that shit. That'll probably get you away from Epstein.
Oh, it'll definitely get away
I don't
from
know if
Epstein.
it'll get you away from the war.
Well, he could. Well, it'll be something new, and he can just bring a quiet end to this thing, right? That's his off ramp. Bring a quiet end to it, because we're gonna be talking about the CIA and what they did to the black community, right? Overall, overwhelmingly, we're gonna be talking about what the CIA did to the black community. I mean, but then again, a lot of people really won't care, too. So you got to think about that.
I think they would, because there's a lot of people that are against reparations for slavery, right? They're like, oh, it's too old. They get their panties in a bunch, figure of speech. Yeah. Because why are you?
A couple hundred years done passed by. And,
yeah.
And
there's no. It was a long time ago. Well, no, this was in the 80s, homie. This was this is 30, 40, almost 40 years ago.
It was around the corner. It's still fresh.
It's still fresh. And not only that, I do genealogy, so you don't really see the one person household in mass until that point.
Yep, that's true.
So
that had to do with a lot of things, right? I mean, crack was the catalyst for it, because I can tell you straight up that, up until that point, you saw mostly 2-parent households, right? The father was in the home, mother was there. But when crack hit, bro, you left a generation of kids literally to fend for themselves. Things were happening. If you got caught with just a crumb of a crack, you was going to prison, right? So you had a lot of people saw big, fast money at this time. Economy wasn't 100% great, but here's a way for me to make some quick dollars to take care of my family. Well, you bred crack dealers out of that, right? Well, these guys were getting locked up at record rates, and or getting turf wars began out of that. The gangs became a lot more violent, especially where we live. We didn't really have gangs, and then they started infiltrating and moving in, right, and setting up shop. Then you have crack houses and trap houses and all that kind of stuff. And turf wars began, and now not only are young black men, young fathers being sent to prison for being a part of this, you were also being gunned down in the streets by your own people, right? And it all started because of what our government did to us, right? They lit the match, right, and threw it on a pile of gasoline cans that exploded, and that's exactly what happened. And it happened in many communities all across this nation, starting in California and then spreading east. And that's what happened, man. And you saw the decline of 2-parent households. You saw the rise of welfare recipients, right, because of the decline of 2-parent households. And then on top of that, another systematic policy that was put in place was, it's hard to eat out here. It's hard to pay your bills. You need some welfare. You need some assistance. We're going to give it to you, sister. But you got to get rid of that man out of your house, right? So now you got a lot of women that were either putting men out or at least listing them as not being there so that they could get the welfare assistance to be able to take care of their families, right? And yes, there are some abuses with it on the people that were receiving it, but not everybody, because I know people will want to comment and say, well, you welfare queens and all this kind of stuff. Get out of here with that nonsense. There were some abuses with it, as with anything, and it wasn't just our people, but the spotlight was shined on us, right? The spotlight was shined on the black community because of the crack era, and that spotlight and stereotypes and labels that have been placed on us have never been able to be lifted because of that, right? We are still suffering from what the crack era did to our community. And that's something that we actually have to talk about and take care of, you know what I mean? And come to an understanding and then have some reparations behind it. Hell yeah, 100%. We didn't ask to have crack dropped off in our communities, right? We didn't ask to have cocaine. We didn't own any planes, right? We didn't have the funds and the money to go to Colombia and buy cocaine, Peru to buy cocaine and fly that into this country. Black folks didn't have the means to do that. So how did that happen? Right? We didn't have the means to do that. We just weren't, as a population, we weren't wealthy like that to be able to incur the cost of smuggling cocaine into this country that then eventually got turned into crack. The government did that. And they very much well should be held accountable for that. And they should pay reparations for it to our people for putting us in that bind. Now, it skyrocketed from there. You know, now you have meth and you had meth, now you have pills and fentanyl and all that. But it all started from the heroin. Well, heroin, you got to come back a little bit. Heroin was like in the 60s. Vietnam War. The heroin was, that coming from the middle, not Middle East, but from, Vietnam and those Asian countries.
Southeast Asia, yeah.
Southeast Asia, right? But crack was even worse than heroin. And heroin was bad. But crack was even worse than that. Yeah. So... That's
God damn it! Release the crack files.
Release the goddamn crack files, man.
Release the crack files, man. Hey,
I mean, go ahead.
No, I'm just gonna say, what do you want? What can you do, Trump? Like you're back against the wall here, because we see what's going on, and we see that you answering to another nation. So
100%.
That's
100%. And if you really truly mean America first, then put America first, man. Do what you said you were going to do. We know that you're not. We know that we truly aren't first, right? We know that we're truly not going to take care of our people. We're going to send billions to Israel. We're going to send billions to other countries. We're going to prop up their socialist programs in other countries where we demonize it here in our country, where we say, we can't give our people free health care. We can't give our people free education. But we're going to send money everywhere else so other countries can do that for their citizens, right?
Yeah. They citizens get free health care, free education. They get money for a baby. Like, they get, 10 racks to have a baby? Come on, man.
And we're helping to fund that.
Yeah.
We are.
Funding that.
We're funding that. But we can't do it here. It's demonized here for your country, for our taxpayers to take care of each other here. But we're very much willing to do it in other nations. And I think it's just people either they're ignorant to it or they're willfully ignorant to it, and they just don't even realize it. That's what's really happening. But it is what's really happening.
I personally think that the reason this Epstein files is such a big deal is it demonstrates that no matter if you're a Republican or a Democrat or whatever, Israel got you in a headlock. That's why on the Democrat side, they not saying shit. They not really speaking they not representing the people no more. They representing one thing. They both they can fight, so they telegraph us the fight on each side. Oh, Democrats and Republicans, blah, blah, blah. The only thing they agree on is Israel. That's a problem. That's a massive problem. And I don't know. I say we get all of these people that's aligned with Israel. I don't care what side you are. Get them out. Because until that happens, we not really going to get America first anything. We not really going to get put first as the people. So I say the people first campaign, and get everybody that don't align with that, that's taking money from these organizations, AIPAC and all that, and the ADL and all that. It could be replace Israel with Brazil. We know Brazil ain't doing nothing, but it's another foreign nation. All these guys are traitors.
Right.
All these guys are committing treason. So
All of them.
let's get them out. Like, they don't deserve our vote because they not really improving our lives. They're improving their pockets, and they're improving
in any way, shape, or form.
their lives.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I 100% agree with you. I mean, we need a change. We really need a revolution in this country. And before anybody says, oh, we can't have a revolution, I'm not necessarily talking about an armed revolution, right? Because granted, we don't have the firepower to go against our government. I mean, they'll stamp that out. They'll stomp that out like in 2 seconds, right? But we need an economic revolution, okay? We need an economic revolution. These billionaire corporations that fund this kind of stuff and fund other countries, i.e. Israel and others, we need to really like put the clamps down on them. Like, we're not going to do business with you if you're going to fund these other places and not take care of the people first, right? We need a revolution of us understanding each other and not looking at one another as enemies, right? Just because we belong to a different political party or we vote a certain way. The revolution needs to be like, I understand you, because we are 100% literally in this boat together, right? We're in the crap shit boat together, where the elite are selling off on the yacht, right? We're in the dinghy and they're on the yacht, and we're in it together. And even though they may make one political party may make you feel a certain way and make you feel good about something against the other one, but at the end of the day, like George Carlin said, it's a big club and we ain't in it, right? Yep. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, if none of y'all out there know who George Carlin is, go look him up. Comedian, but what he's talking about isn't necessarily 100% on the funny side. He's telling the truth about how our government is ran. They own this place. They own this country, and they keep us, employed, fed well enough, paid well enough, just to be comfortable and not to ask too many questions while they run off with the riches and enrich themselves and their families and leave the rest of us behind.
Yep, and the gig is up. The gig is up. We are tired of it. So, yeah, we need to come together. Like, we even take this back to Dr. Martin Luther King, right? They assassinated him because he launched the Poor People's Campaign.
Right.
He was like, we're going to go back to Washington for our check. Because he realized it's just not about the rights. It's about evening the playing field for poor people everywhere throughout this country.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't be in this situation right now if they did not assassinate him. Because he was that big. He was so influential. A lot of black people were Republicans at that time, right?
Right.
Black people became Democrats with Kennedy, right? Because Kennedy was able to work with him and get him out of jail, and work with the campaign,
right?
And he was the incumbent, right? He was the new guy. The other guy shrugged him off. That's why the other guy lost, right?
Yep. 100%.
And it's how most black people are Democrats to this day. So we got to ask ourselves, are these Democrats? Are these Republicans? Are they fighting for the people? Right?
Exactly.
They're not fighting for the people. So they need to go. So just as we have a fiscal revolution in boycotting the dollars that we spend with these corporations, we need to have a political revolution, and we need to get these people out of government who don't work for the people. If they take in money, and then once we gain power, we need to get rid of the Citizen United. We need to get rid of it.
100%.
There's a lot of people that's going exempt now because they're like, I'm not sending my money over there to this government to then send to Iran, or not Iran, but to Israel to bomb Iran. And then we already saw you guys committed a genocide and you don't care. And that's how we know it's two wings of the same bird. Because
Yep.
why this one country get unlimited support? You ain't even in NATO.
Exactly.
You ain't even in NATO. What is we talking about?
Unlimited support, and they can't say it's biblical, so I don't even want to hear that bullshit ass excuse anymore. That's what they used to do, and they used to fearmonger with that. But I don't even want to hear that. It's not biblical. It's something else.
These people aren't. These people don't follow God. Point blank. Period.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if I'm correct, I'm not, professing myself to be a biblical scholar or anything like that, but didn't the Jewish people not even believe that Jesus Christ was the Son of God, the Messiah?
Yeah.
Am I right on that?
They traded on him.
Okay. Well, I just wanted the clarification. I mean, yeah, I wrestle with that whole coming right back around to that scripture again about blessing Israel. So my question is, God is telling the people to bless the people who murdered his son that don't believe in him in the first place? Am I right on that? Did they murder his son? No, it was the Romans that murdered him.
No, they turned their back.
They turned their back.
The Romans
Yeah.
murdered him.
I told y'all I don't profess to be a biblical scholar, but they do not believe that he is the Son of God or that he's even a prophet of any sort. They just believe he's this guy that was just saying some shit, right?
Right.
And so there you go. If you're Christian, do with that what you may. I don't understand the whole overwhelmingly support for a country, well, especially the country as we know it today, that was founded in 1948. A couple thousand years after the Bible was written. I don't understand the support that at the detriment of our own people, right? Let's say that. Because we're going to support nations out there that support us, but we should not be supporting anybody at the detriment of our own people first. Right. That's my biggest overall take on it. So again, I don't care if you try to say I'm anti-Semitic, because I'm not. I'm far from that. But I am going to call what I see the way it is. And we do overwhelmingly support a nation who does not support us back. And we support a nation at the detriment of our own citizens in this nation, which is not cool.
Exactly. It's not cool. It's not right. I don't know what to tell y'all. Like, it makes sense. I know you say it doesn't make sense. It makes sense if we're occupied.
Right.
Because once you put that into account, like, oh, okay, this makes sense.
Yeah.
This makes sense. Our government is occupied.
Right.
Which would have made sense if he said, if they were the swamp, and he said, I'm going to drain the swamp when he first, back in 2016.
Yeah.
But he became the swamp.
He became the swamp.
So you're the swamp. So you can't drain the swamp. So everything that you stood for, you're now standing against. And
exactly.
How you going to live with yourself? Like, I don't know, man. I think we're totally fucked. To be honest.
From a standpoint of where we're sitting today, unless we have that revolution, right? That we just talked about. Unless we have that revolution, we're in bad shape. I have hope though. I have hope. Basically, what I saw from the people and the way they stood up in Minnesota, okay, and the people who are standing up around the country having no kings protests and things like that. I do have hope that we can affect change and maybe turn things around. And I just hope it's not too late. That's my thing. I hope that by the time we do get there, it's not too late. And I'll say this too. MAGA is not happy with this war by any stretch of the imagination. You still got some hangers on and some stragglers that are going to fight tooth and nail to defend DJT and not Netanyahu. But they are not happy with this war. And this looks like that is the line. I mean, Epstein should have been in the line. I mean, a whole lot of stuff should have been in the line in the sand. It looks like this is the line in the sand for them. Yeah. Especially because they were promised that we will not go in. Because no matter what you say or what you do, it doesn't matter what political party you support, where you come from, it doesn't matter. if they decide to send your son and daughter over there to fight for something that has nothing to do with us, you're affected just like the people that you dislike. We're all affected the exact same. And I think that they realize that point, and that's why they are not on board with this war.
Yeah, because Barron Trump ain't gonna go over there. These
nah.
rich politicians, these rich billionaires, they're not sending their kids over there. They're gonna be
sending their kids or grandkids.
They're gonna be in the penthouse sipping whatever they sipping, chilling, saying, "Oh, this shit's crazy. Look what our people did. Look what my father did. Look what my mother did. Like, look what power strings we could pull on. Like, while your kids is sent into harm's way. Cannon fodder.
If they institute a draft in this country,
those
people's kids need to go first.
Yep.
They need to get drafted, and they need to get sent to the front line first. Like if this is really a just war that we have to have for the security of our nation, just send your kids first. Let's see how serious you are about it.
Yeah, but it wasn't like Iran was like, look, Iran got one beef, Israel, because Israel over there terrorizing people, committing genocide. Let's be real, like they the only ones standing up for these genocidal acts.
Right.
So of course, Iran or Israel trying to take out Iran, but like Iran ain't no punk, and they showing you. So what is it going to escalate to? Nuclear war, right? So we have to.
Not.
I mean, they're bringing in bigger bombs and big. They just sent that the aircraft. I can't remember the name. They just sent the aircraft that pretty much controls the nuclear submarines missiles, nuclear missiles, over to the Middle East. So they just bring in bigger bombs and bigger bombs, and the fact that President Trump said a total surrender. When's the last time we saw that? That was
it ain't happening
in World War II, right? When we dropped the bombs on Japan, right?
Hiroshima, I think.
Nagasaki.
Nagasaki, that's the only way. We're not going to have a total surrender unless we do something like that.
But that means World War III, because now you have, like, you think if we drop a nuclear bomb, all these other countries gonna stand by? But they not.
Nah, not even a little bit.
That's why
not even a little bit.
That's why I feel like we're totally fucked, man. And I know we tried to tell people. This is probably why I never really voted or considered voting for, because I thought he was just from a he's dangerous from a domestic standpoint, but on a foreign stage, foreign affairs, he's even more dangerous, and it's proven to me that this is the case. He's dangerous on that foreign stage. Now, if you like it, if you want to go fight.
That's it.
But I don't think we should be in any. I don't think we should be in any fight on another country if they ain't willing to go fight for themselves. At least I got respect for Ukraine, because Ukraine is like, look, we gonna fight. Right. Just give us the guns. You know what I mean? I just need bullets.
Let us do our thing. Yeah. Let us do our thing.
But this other country, they said, you go fight for us. What the fuck is that? And everybody's sorry.
And we said yes, massa, and went on over there and did what we and had to do it.
Yep. So, excuse my language. This is just, I got to get this out because I can't keep this in. This shit's crazy. I really haven't had a lot of sleep because just the stuff that's going on, and I pay attention. And a lot of us need to pay attention a little more. A lot of us need to pay attention a little more, because just because it don't affect your day or whatever, it affects you. It affects you, and I'm saying pay attention from a political standpoint because it affects you. Pay attention all these levels. They just caught us asleep at the wheel, so they put us over, put us in the trunk, and they driving the show. That's basically what's happening if you want to boil it down to a simplistic level. So we got to get engaged. We got to politically take our country back. Put some
100%.
sensible people that's going to put us first, us people first. If they ain't talking about the people first movement, don't even vote for them. Because they talking about something else.
I think a lot of that will come out of, and we've talked about this before, I think a lot of that will come out of, your generation. I mean, a little bit of my generation too, but your generation just ain't taking this shit no more, right?
No.
And I think that's where that movement's going to have to come from. They need to become your people in your generation, in your age group. They just have to be the ones to say, all right, enough is enough, and we're done with this. We're going to stand up. We're done with this. Let's get the old heads out of there, right? Let's get the old heads out of there. Let's get some new ideas, new fresh ideas. People first. Put this nation at the top of the list of who needs to be protected and taken care of. Now, granted, it's not as easy as it sounds because, again, like I said, there's a club that we're not invited to and we're not members of that will fight tooth and nail not to let that happen. So that's where that revolution comes back around again. We have to have that revolution in this country, right? With economics, okay, with utilizing our First Amendment rights to protest and get in the streets. And then recognizing that we just have to love one another, right? It has to be a revolution of love, economics, and protest. And if we can do that, I think that over time we can turn it around and turn us into what we should be and what we aspire to be.
Yep, I agree with you. And with that, we ask you very humbly to hit that like and subscribe button. This has been the Uncle Phew podcast. This was a good conversation. Definitely needed it.
Yeah, definitely needed it. I was trying to get on last Saturday, 4 in the morning. Let's go. But no, we needed some time.
When we went and bombed Iran, he did call me. He was like, "You ready to go?" I was like, "I'm still recovering from last night. Like, I'm not ready to go."
Well, here we are. So, but no, good conversation, nephew. Till next time, it's the Uncle Phew podcast.
All right.